People have asked me about my life, and they go, isn't there a lot of pressure on you when you get up in these weird crowds that you don't know when you speak to them, or isn't there a pressure and just even Sunday mornings and knowing that everything you're saying is recorded and can be used against you, and everyone around the world is going to critique this thing, and I go, I don't know, I don't think about that a whole lot. There's a lot more pressure being a dad. Like with everything that I know some of you guys throughout the week you do, and it's looked at as, wow, you have to do that during the week, you have those responsibilities, but really doesn't compare to being a dad and the difficulties of that and the pressure of that and the frustration in that, the lack of control in that. And I was thinking about that for Father's Day, and I was going to give a message to the dads today, and I'm going to put that off. I want to take a couple of weeks and talk about the family this summer, and get a focus and a right perspective and a biblical perspective on those things, because it's such a huge issue. And I hate to disappoint you this morning with not giving a Father's Day message, but there's something pretty pressing not pretty pressing. I have to say some things this morning. There's a few times in my life, I should say, there have been a few times in my life when there's just a message that God says, say it. Don't be afraid to say it. Lay it out. You have to lay it out. People may not like it, but lay it out anyways. Are you really a prophet of mine or not? Are you really going to say whatever I ask you to say? And this morning is one of those times. This morning is something I've been convicted about for the last few weeks. And I know God's been wanting me to say these things. And so I'm going to say them, and we'll deal with Father's Day things later. You'll still be a dad at the end of the summer. But first, let me show you a video. Remember last week I showed you some videos from when I was in Brazil and Uganda. I want to show you another clip just to refresh your memory. Here's where I was a couple weeks ago in Uganda, and here's a crowd that I spoke to. You can go ahead and throw the video up there.
Okay, so the question is that we're wondering tonight, and I think I know the answer already because I've been here for a day already, but the question is there a generation of students in this city and in this nation who really, truly, in word and in deed, want to live their lives to make Jesus famous in this generation? That's the question.
That's who I was speaking to a couple of weeks ago. It's a lot like this. But isn't that an amazing sound? Isn't that just the most beautiful sound when you just, okay, you guys want to live for Jesus. You want to make him famous. And then, just for them to chant the name of Jesus. What a beautiful, beautiful noise. But what if I were to tell you that after that service, over half of them would leave and go commit adultery that week? Then what would you think of that sound that they just made? You see, because after the meetings, I was speaking one time, and I said something about sin. I said something about immorality, and I got these weird looks. I mean, it totally blew my mind. There's just these looks on their faces, and they all started looking down and looking around, and I'm going, this is something I talk about every weekend, about sin. And so I asked one of the leaders during the break, I'm like, maybe it was just me, but typically I can read a crowd as I'm speaking. And as I was speaking and I talked about sin, I talked about immorality, it just seemed like the complete mood just changed. And these looks on their faces like they were just ashamed and looked to the ground. And I said, tell me about that. And a couple of the leaders of the ministries were there, and they said, well, that's pretty common out here, that they would worship like crazy on Sunday morning and then go sleep around the rest of the week. And I go, you're kidding me. Like, I mean, it's one thing if you come